Hi everyone, I'm Alex Zaves and welcome to the Arts and Crafts Show. Today's subject is a little controversial. It can be a little sensitive to some people. It can bruise a few egos perhaps, but basically it's about those two words, arts and crafts. Okay, we use it in the shows, arts and crafts. And you'll go to the show and artists feel that they're artists because they do this, and craftspeople say we do this, and craftspeople say we're artists, and artists say no, you're not. And it's been going on for all the years that I've seen, been around. But about 30 years ago, I was doing this show in Santa Barbara, California. They do this weekly show on Sundays only, and what they do on Sundays is that they broke up, and this show's been going on for about 45, maybe 50 years now, so it's been around for a while. And what they broke up this show into two sections. They broke it up into the craft section. They separated it by about 50 or 60, 70 feet, and then they have an art section. The art section, when I was doing this 30-some years ago, was almost all two-dimensional painters. And, that was what they considered artists. Craftspeople were on the other side, and they did functional work like pottery or glass or metal, candles, things that they didn't feel like had a whole lot of emotion into it, but craftspeople, had emotion into their work. But artists, the two-dimensionals. Okay, so whatever they put on the walls became two-dimensional art, was considered. You could go into the art section. Artists did not like to set up with craftspeople because craftspeople would sell something for like $10 or $15, and artists would sell things for like $100, $200, $500, $700, and they didn't want their customers to go, why is this, $10 and this is $400? Okay. Then about 30 years ago or something like that, the photographers, who was also considered two-dimensional, would go up on the walls. They wanted to participate as well. They couldn't go into the craft section because their work went up on the walls. So they applied, and the art section started with photographers, which wasn't so bad because it was just 1, 2, or 3 photographers in the show. But the artists would kind of go, well, you're really not artists, to the photographers. They say, you're really not artists because you take a picture and then if you don't like it, you just take another one, take another one, and then you just reproduce it over and over and over and over and over again. Whereas we as artists, every piece of work that we do is original. I'm going back 30 years, okay, because things are going to change in a minute when I talk about this subject. So, as time went on, the photographers there started to be a lot more photographers in the show. The ones that got some respect were the pinhole photographers, and, where they would just shoot one picture at a time, black and white, usually a pinhole. They would just lift it up and down, and that's how they did their work. And the artists had some respect for that, but and then sculptors from the craft section, people like myself who did, more contemporary art, things that were one of a kind, metal work, more sculpture, wanted to move into the art section. And artists go, well, we need the traditional type of art in the art section. And they wanted more like, like stone carving, something like that, bronze work, which I've also done at a time in my life. And so you can see that there is a certain separation from art and craft. Now things have changed a little bit. Artists, they do their original work, and they make prints and copies of their work, and then they might even sell multiples of it, and they'll do a special series of 200, and that's it. And then photographers now no longer go into their dark room and do the art of actually, figuring out how to, adjust, for their photography in the dark room and get the lights in the darks. They just go ahead and have it printed up. Everything's digital now. things have changed quite a bit. The craftspeople are pretty much the same. You know, they get their work and they still are just kind of, you know, moving along, and they make their craft, pottery or metal. And I do metal crafts also. I mean, I do, you know, something I do over and over and over again because it's my bread and butter at a lot of the shows. So, of course, I do that as well. But then I have some of my craft work that would be considered an art because I do kinetic sculpture. And that all of them is just a little bit different that I really can't reproduce. I've thought about taking pictures of it and printing it up and selling them as prints, but that's another story. But so the lines between art and craft amongst our group is a little bit more defined than you'll find with your customers and clients, because your customers, a large majority of them, will think that everything is art, okay? Because, you know, they're used to seeing stuff on the outside that is mass-produced, stamped out in Walmart or Kmart or, you know, whatever shop that they go to. It all looks alike, so therefore that's just sort of like a craft that comes from another country. But what we do is everything is done just a little bit differently. It becomes an art. We put our hearts and souls into it. It feels good. Everything's a little different. Some of it is mistakes, but it becomes the art part of our craft. And this is something to remember when you think about art and craft. And promoters, okay, they have a different approach when they look at art and craft, okay? Some promoters are very upfront about it. They see art and craft show and they see the difference, okay? And then there are other promoters, especially if you're coming to fill out your application, they are really serious at everything. It doesn't make a difference. Everything is an art because that's what they're selling to the community. So when you write up a description of your work, or you make sure that you put down my art or my sculpture, you leave out the word craft because they don't want to see that in their, you know, because they might take what you say in your short description of what you're doing and print that up and give that to the media, and then the media will take that and run with it as well. So art and craft is a very elusive term. A lot of people have a lot of feelings about that, and I've seen a lot of you know, over the years I've seen how things have changed. But to me, it's art and craft, you know, to me, I would say, you know, art is something that's two-dimensional. It's an original piece of work. But, you know, not all art is any good, actually. You know, just because they put it on the wall, they put a high price on it, doesn't mean it's good. And craft, which can be, you know, poorly constructed, isn't much of a craft either. But then there's some crafts that are just, each one is done individually. A lot of yourself has been poured into it, really merges into what is considered an art. So you're going to have to decide for yourself where you fit in this description between art and craft. And but the shows are called art and craft shows, and we all get along well together, and that's what's really important. But there is a little bit of a difference. You know, people who consider themselves artists feel that they're better or above the craftspeople because what they do is all original work. Well, that was years ago. Now that they're printing all their work out, and photographers are printing all their work out, and artists are, you know, they may be doing limited editions. We as craftspeople, every piece we make is original, okay? Every piece we make is original. Until, you know, the time comes where 3D printing is coming out, and maybe in about 4 or 5 years from now, you know, 3D printing will actually be able to print out what a craftsman makes, then the rules will change again. So I'm just saying to you that we all have our own expectations of what our work is all about. I've been around this business long enough to not to focus in on, you know, which is more important than the other. what to me is very important is that what the person does is they love their work, they enjoy it, they like to be creative, they are free with their work, they explain their work to their clients, and everything that they do is focused on their talent, and they grow over time, and that's what's most important. So that's basically what I want to talk about today, is the difference between arts and crafts. Put in the comments below how you think the difference between arts and crafts is. Okay, I know that there's a lot. I probably missed a lot of definitions of what art and craft is. This is just my personal experience over the last 40 years of what I've seen in the arts and crafts shows. And I have seen over there, and also in Honolulu, they have the artist fence. Okay, artists, only two-dimensional people could display at the show, and they put it on the fence. There were no crafts people there. There weren't any booths for that. So there is a difference, and I just wanted to know if what your opinion is of the arts and the crafts is. I'm still learning after all these years, basically what it's all about. Anyway, please subscribe, hit the bell, share if you can. I don't know what else they're asking for you to kind of. But I'm going to be doing work like this. I've got some other videos coming up in my mind. After 40 years, I've got a lot of thoughts about what's been going on. I'm not going to be in this business many more years, so I really would like to share with you the realities of what's going on. I kind of want to share the secrets of the arts and crafts show world and what's been happening and what happened when I first started back in the 70s and before, and what I'm still doing now. I've got some shows coming up in about a month, so I'll be heading out there. I like to do some videos of my work and show you that as well. Anyway, thank you very much, and I'll see you at the next arts and crafts show next time. Bye.